Easy Explain, The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. DuBois, The Quest Beyond. So I've made a kind of a preamble note like this in an earlier video. Just want to put it out there that everything you see that's it, colored text and italicized text, those are the words of DuBois. I am trying to be accurate and authentic and preserve his words and his work. But I'm not going to read every single quote because we have to keep in mind this is from 1903. Some of his language is a little antiquated. But I will provide, an overview where possible. Otherwise, I'll just be reading it on the screen. So kicking off with this next, set of themed works here, let's start looking at what DuBois says here about opportunity. So here, DuBois says that America is not another word for opportunity to all her sons. It's easy for us to lose ourselves in details in endeavoring to grasp and comprehend the real condition of a mass of human beings. We often forget that each unit in the mass is a throbbing human soul, right? We can't just become a number. You got to consider how everyone's an individual, everyone's a human being. And he's really looking at how, you could say these blanket statements of the opportunities that are being made available, but he's saying not to every single person in that throbbing mass, right? So let's look at debt, right? What would be something that really holds people back from opportunity? It's debt. Du Bois here says the system is bound to bankrupt the tenant. Once in debt, it is no easy matter for a whole race to emerge. So, very much so an uphill battle, huge struggle systemically here. Let's move on to defeat, theme coming from out of debt, right? They are careless because they have not found that it pays to be careful. They are improvident because the improvident ones of their acquaintance get on about as well as the provident, right? So this sense of defeat coming from the sense of debt, right? It doesn't matter, what we're doing one way or the other, we're still going to feel defeated. It doesn't even matter if we're the most provident, the best. It's still an uphill battle with debt, overwhelming debt facing. So struggle, right? Hopefully we're seeing this theme, this trend building here. Du Bois says all social struggle is evidenced by the rise, first of economic, then of social classes among a homogeneous population. So, right, socioeconomic, right? That's a bigger word we're going to use here. Socioeconomic struggle is huge throughout the population. But let's pull in some optimism here. Let's look at the idea of perseverance despite all of this. Du Bois is going to say here, the rise of a nation, the pressing forward of a social class means a bitter struggle, a hard and soul-sickening battle with the world, such as few of the more favored classes know or appreciate. But you got to persevere, right? That's the outcome of the struggle, is perseverance. Trying to pull this one together, some ideas here of the good, the beautiful, and the true. Man, it's a little poetic, but, Du Bois loved poetry. He was a poet himself, so maybe that's on theme. So here he says, it is then the strife of all honorable men of the 20th century to see that in the future competition of races, the survival of the fittest, Darwinian, shall mean the triumph of the good, the beautiful, and the true, right? That's our new social standard. That we may be able to persevere for future civilization, all that is really fine and noble and strong, and not to continue to put a premium on greed and impudence and cruelty, right? So here's some virtue here, here's some optimism, here's some perseverance. And sorry, I misspoke there, is be able to preserve for the future of civilization. So we're going to jump back to a big theme he brought very early in the work. Going back to this concept of his of the color line, this social concept that there is black and then there is white with the color line drawn down the middle. He pulls this up in gerrymandering, city districts. We see it everywhere. So he's bringing it back, right? This idea has not gone away. He's going to circle back to it many times throughout his work. Huge concept for Du Bois. Here it is again. Let's look at a brief political theory. Getting a little political in here. He says that every state, the best arbiters of their own welfare are the persons directly affected. Let people, run and rule themselves, right? Everybody coming together here. He's also going to bring back the concept of the veil, right? This idea of, this is just a longer quote. I'm not going to read it here, but again, an earlier concept he brings back again, that the black experience is from behind a veil. You're within the veil. You're seeing things differently. You're seen differently. Huge concept that comes back here as well, again, multiple times throughout the work. We're going to start to try to look beyond the color line, right? So he's brought this concept up, and now we're going to start to try to problem solve how to address this. He calls this the biggest problem of the 20th century, the 21st century. So how do we adjust this, right? How do we move beyond it, whether it's just by a handshake or full social union? What do we do here? And what is triumph going to look like? So this is a very large quote, split up into two parts. This first part, he's really considering a big complaint, a big problem at the time in 1903, where you had white people saying there's a certain cause here, and you had black people saying there's another certain cause. And he's like, hold on a second. Like, we're all responsible, right? We all have to be responsible in our own ways, in our different ways. And he goes on, there's a big passage I split up here, but he goes on in the second part, and this is where we're going to end things for now, looking at the quest beyond, how to move this. So again, it comes back to trying to figure out a way to address this color line, to move beyond the color line, to hopefully potentially erase the color line. And it's going to be hard, right? It's not going to be easy. It's going to take the best of us on all sides. But with the right perseverance, with the right hope, with the right minds, the right education, he is hopeful that there will be some kind of triumph. There will be some kind of justice done. So we just got to keep working together here on that. So another big selection of quotes, all playing into a new theme for Du Bois here. For now, hope that helps.